what's your territory, where you're from, and how long you been in gyms for?
Yeah, sure. So I started Jim's Mowing in July 2022 this year, smack bang in the middle of winter, which is a great time to start Jim's Mowing. So it's all quite fresh, quite new. And yeah, my territory is over in Oran Park, Central, Western Sydney.
And what were you doing prior to Jim's Mowing?
So far it's been good.
And what were you doing prior?
Before this, I was in the building industry. I was working as a pre-construction coordinator, which looks after all the scheduling and arranging the pre-approval process for homes being built. But now it's just getting tired of the 9 to 5, sitting behind a computer. So, jump to something that was outside or a good exercise, good for the mental and physical health. So,
what made you decide on Jim's Mowing then? Were you looking at other things, or what was appealing about Jim's Mowing for you?
yeah, look, I think it's the appeal to working outside and using my body physically in that way in work has always appealed. But yeah, I was just watching these mowing videos on YouTube as you do, and Jim's Mowing came up, and I thought, oh, let's have a look and explore, and saw all the videos that Jim's group had, and everything that you had on there as well, with a bit of how Jim operated things and a bit more about the organization. And I thought I'd jump into it and have a look, and the rest is history.
So, how have you found the first month?
Yeah. It's been good. It was challenging in the sense that we had horrendous wet weather. So obviously mowing lawns then is a bit difficult, but in between there we had lots of gardening jobs, a few end of lease, mowing jobs as well. So it's been awesome. It's allowed me to be around for my young family. It's also allowed for my wife to go back to work full time. So it's the work life balance has been an awesome experience.
Yeah, and how did you find the training being so fresh out of it for a month? How did it help prepare you, or how was that whole experience?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's I'm from Sydney to fly down to Melbourne. You've got excellent facilities where you can stay and catch up with other new business owners and even experienced ones, and have a chat to them, and learn from a wealth of experience and knowledge in different industries. With just having conversations with Jim and the other trainers, you'll learn a lot about yourself and other people, and where they've come from. And something I really enjoy and like and appreciate about gyms is they don't just teach you how to operate as our best franchise or whatever. It's more about how to set yourself up for success with your own business. Where do you want to go as your business, and how can we help you get there? All within that gym's framework, which is fantastic anyway. But they teach you little tricks, or and then job specific stuff as well. So if you've got gyms cleaning, they'll take you through that training, or gyms mowing, they'll show you job specific things as well, which is a huge.
And how did you find the mowing side of the training? Because people might not know, you do have divisional specific training. So you have the generic 3-day one, which everyone does, but then you have to do the mowing specific or this clean specific training. So how did you find the mowing specific side of it?
It's really interesting. It's coming into it with mowing your own backyard. You think you're pretty good at it, and you think, oh yeah, I can do this. It's pretty simple and easy. And by golly, I'll tell you what, you meet some of the people there, and the trainers and from horticulture to basic motor mechanics. It's just amazing to actually learn how to properly edge, or how to identify different grasses so you don't put the wrong weed killer on it, or things like that. It's just it's really comforting to know that you've got mentors that you can rely on and ask those questions, and you didn't feel like an idiot for asking questions that might seem simple, but they were always willing to answer that. So even basic roadside mechanics to fix your mower, or replace your mower blades. It's all
How's the
helps.
body been in the first month? Because it can be quite challenging coming from an office job where you go into. I hear it from all the mowing guys. I talk to a lot of them, and they lose a lot of weight, and their body's real sore for the first 2 months until it adjusts. So how's the body going?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Tell you what, no need to join the gym. You can just join gyms instead. So, yeah, I tell you what, the first few weeks I was aching and sore, and but it felt good at the same time. It's you felt like you were getting healthier and more fit, a lot more sunshine. I'm finally beginning to get a tan, and that probably makes
You got a
my
nice bit of
wife
glow. Yeah,
happy
like
too.
I've got more
So.
pasty whites. You can tell I work in an office where you got a nice little bit of tan happening for you.
But I was much the same, buddy. I was very much the same. So it's this is only quite fresh. Yeah, no, it's been awesome. And like I said before, the mental health side of things, being able to go outside, fresh air, just be with yourself and your thoughts and listen to some music or podcasts. It's
Yeah, I was
it's
going to say,
awesome.
Josh, that's a
You
good
know,
point
you,
about
you
the
don't.
mental health side of it. A lot of people get stuck in the office and it's very draining and stuff mentally. Might not be as physical. Whereas
Yeah,
I'll hear it from everyone who, in your position, who makes the change and they've got a big smile on their face and, they're just a lot more happy because you're out there releasing those endorphins and you listen to podcasts and books. So it's not something where you're bored, you stimulate your mind and you're doing some physical work.
absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely right. It's just it's just a way for you just to stop and reflect, even just to not have the pressure of your bosses over your shoulder and or just like I say, you got the flickering lights inside, and yeah, and being locked up in a cage almost, but being outside, you feel like, okay, I'm actively helping this person by doing the gardens, um, things like that. It's just yeah, so many different ways that you don't realize until
Now
you
you sent
start
an
the
email to
work. So
Jim, and you had a part in it where you have a cerebral palsy, so as well. So maybe you want to talk people about what that is and how it affects and how you're going with it all.
yeah, sure. No, I appreciate that, mate. It's yeah, I was and diagnosed with cerebral palsy. The variant is left hemiplegia. The thing with cerebral palsy is it affects so many different people in so many different unique ways, and there is no one definition of how it affects everybody who has cerebral palsy. But essentially, in my case, means that every muscle on the left side of my body is weaker and hasn't grown at the same rate as the rest of my body. So it means that I've got tight muscles and muscle weakness and paralysis in some cases. Um, and I wasn't diagnosed until I was probably about 2 years old when my parents found out. And when they first spoke to specialists, I was, they were told that, Josh, you'll be in a wheelchair for life. You won't be able to speak or eat and feed yourself. And you'll be quite, just not live a full life in that sense. Um, so fast forward a little bit, I spent months in and out of hospital doing rehab, physio appointments, hydrotherapies. I think I counted at one point. I had 16 operations, different operations, by the age of 15. So I was, like I said, I was months at a time in hospital doing rehab and all that type of thing. And I was very blessed to be able to have access to a health system where I could, have these surgeries and just get the support I needed. Um, so yeah, and now I'm 30 and got a young family of my own and am working, can feed myself and can hold a conversation somewhat. So and when you're told those things as a kid and as you grow up and you see everybody else achieving these things and becoming whatever they want, a builder, aircraft pilot, all these type of things, and then because of your disability, you feel like you've got some limitations, or there are just physical implications on that. Like I couldn't join the Air Force because of my physical capabilities there. It does have an impact on you as a person and mentally as well. However, I've tried to live in a way where I can I push myself to exceed expectation in the sense that I might not be able to do things, and that's okay. But find ways that work for me, and find my limits. And this is where gyms really opened up an opportunity for me to do things in a way that I could do it, in a way that I could find my limits and work to a method that worked for me, but still be successful, even with a person that has cerebral palsy. So I feel really quite lucky, and yeah, it's been hard, but I mean, everybody has their own challenges, and everybody finds ways to deal with those. And I think having a good support network really helps. And even professionally in gyms, you get that, which is
Now, how
quite
have you
unique.
adapted the business to then suit you? Out of interest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I structure my work to allow for a bit more breaks, say, or the type of jobs I take on. I make sure I schedule those in days where it allows my body to recover a bit better, and I won't push myself in terms of if I know that I can't get up a ladder to do certain things, then I won't take on those jobs. Um, I mean, that's pretty common sense there as well with other things too. But yeah, for me, it's just a matter of trying the thing, but also just realizing my own limit and seeing where my limit is for that certain task. But you don't know until you try, right? So yeah, for me, it's still learning, still finding what works for me. But so far, I've been happy, and I've been making a solid income, and it's where I'm comfortable and excited. So yeah, and my dream is to ultimately have a small to have a small team, and possibly have multiple cars and trailers on the road as a business. So things
I'm
change
sure you
and
can, mate. You're
adapt.
already,
So
first month in, you're doing good revenue already. So, very,
sure,
it's
I
great that
appreciate it.
when I heard, I don't think we've ever, like, I've been in 11 years at Jim's Group, and I've never come across a franchisee of cerebral palsy. So when I saw you said that, I'm like, wow, it's an amazing story, and hopefully we can inspire some other people who might think, oh, it's, you can't do it, or something, that they can do it, and you're proof of that.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, mate. No, I
And I was going
appreciate
to talk
it.
about, let's
Thank
talk
you.
about the services you provide. So it's not just mowing. So in your first month, what can you just tell people what type of jobs you've been doing?
Sure. I mean, so yeah, like I said, mowing aside, I've done lots of garden cleanups, just general garden cleaning and getting rid of weeds and weed removal, hedge pruning and trimming. Even I've done a household item clean out, so taking things to the tip, and I've done some mulching, uh, gutter cleaning on the lower levels, and I found ways to do that from the ground, and different things. So yeah, there's a few things there that we do, and it's all good. We do lots of ride-on mowing work as well, so that's
So what setup do you
something
have?
else
What
too.
what
So.
what everyone loves talking about gear and equipment. So what gear are you running?
We made the choice to go with all battery powered for the majority of our equipment. Our main gear is all using the ego powered equipment. The main idea behind that is a bit less maintenance, and overall the equipment is generally a bit lighter than the petrol gear. And a good thing is too, it's good for the environment and makes it for a good selling point too. And yeah, it's just healthy for us too. We're not breathing in fumes and not dealing with oils and fuel and all that. So far the ego equipment's been solid for us. The only thing that's stuffed me up is I've left the mulch plug for the lawnmower on one job, and I
Okay.
haven't seen it since. So that's nothing wrong with the equipment.
So if you use fully ego, hopefully we can talk to the ego rep to give you some free gear or something, because they'd love to have a franchisee in mowing using the full ego setup for their setup. So we'll have to reach out.
I'll be
Yeah.
keen. Yeah, I'm looking to grow that gear up, and bring in some more
Awesome.
equipment. So
And mate, yeah, we'll
definitely help.
take a photo of yourself with the gear, and I'll send it to the rep here and see what they can do. At least they'll post it on their social
Sure.
channels or something. They'll be rapt to hear that, because I think you've started off the right foot. A lot of people, when they start in mowing, they've obviously used the Hondas and the the fuel powered stuff. It's very hard for them to leave that. Whereas if you've started with the battery right from the start, it's sort of a lot easier to use.
Absolutely right, mate. And it took me a little while just to do some research and find if it was really worthwhile, if it keep up with the petrol gear. But yeah, so far I'm happy and it works for me. Ultimately, I like to set up my trailer as well to be able to charge the batteries on the go with like a little solar panel and all that type of thing. At the moment, I just plug in overnight and charge up, and away I go. And yeah, so far
And your batteries have been okay for the day. You obviously have multiple batteries in the trailer, or how do you do it?
Yeah, correct. I think I've got about 6 batteries in total. Yeah, I mean they vary in different sizes, but they get
And what
the
do the
job
customers
done.
say to it?
So
What
just
do the
rotate
customers
them.
say?
They think it's really good. They're quite intrigued by it. To be honest, they didn't think that battery equipment was where it is at with these type of things. They're used to seeing their household items where things die after 15 or 20 minutes and they can't really cut through grass or even a vacuum cleaner or something like that. And yeah, they're quite impressed. Even the real estate agent that I work with, they've been curious, and I think I ended up getting one of their guys onto Ego as well. So, but yeah, no, they seem to be drawn to it, and they see it as a positive thing as well because it means, like I said before, less fumes and not so noisy. So they're happier for us to come start a bit earlier or bit later
And
in the
how's
evening
the
too.
power beam with the mower?
Yeah, it's worked really well. I've done a slashing job on a bit of a larger property, and the grass was about knee high in some areas, and uh, this particular mower I've got is the steel deck, and it's got the side discharge, which means you can push through that thicker stuff, and it still clears it out. And even with that, the one battery lasted that whole job, and I was able to knock that down. No trouble at all. And I was honestly surprised because I wasn't sure how I would handle that larger job. But yeah, I'm not. Put it this way, I'm not finding myself looking to go for back to petrol or feeling like I need to go get a petrol mower
I think people
or
don't
anything like
realise just
that.
how
So
light it is as well. Because I know from down in Melbourne, we've got some obviously
absolutely.
petrol gear, and I know the difference, and it is a big difference, isn't it?
Absolutely right, mate. For me to lift a petrol self-propelled mower by myself, that would definitely be challenging, perhaps for other people too. But yeah, the ego stuff, I can deal with that. So yeah, it's worked for me
We've
really
even
well.
had Jim do the ego stuff, and he couldn't. He can't lift too much, but he was lifting. He was lifting it, not a problem at all. He was commenting how light it is,
Sure,
so it is really good stuff. And hopefully, ego, if I do send this to them,
absolutely.
can give you some free stuff for giving them a big plug. They'll be wrapped.
Yeah,
What do you need
I'll
from
be
them?
happy to.
Do you need anything?
At the moment, I'd love to get
Brush
the
cutter.
brush cutter
All right.
or the
I'll
edger.
I'll package this
Um,
up after this, and I'll try and forward it to them and see if we can get you something. Cool. And
Sounds
yeah,
good,
so
mate.
let's
Appreciate
like,
it.
owning a business just in general, like, has it been it would have been scary because you come down from Melbourne, you got your family there, you're coming down like, I hope this thing is good. I've watched all this stuff and I think it's good, but is it going to live up to the expectations? So has it lived up to the expectations, and how's it just been overall running a business for the first month?
I tell you what, mate, it's a lot. It really is a lot to take in and jump into. And like you say, when you've got a young family, you're thinking about everything, right? You're thinking about sustainability and how this is going to work, and just lifestyle and all of that. So um, to be able to start a business and then also be responsible for scheduling, quoting prices, maintenance equipment, maintaining your gear and equipment, making sure that you do the job well, and customer service, all these different elements, even bookkeeping, banking, learning what different software programs there are to help you, or just just to learn the nuts and bolts and behind the scenes of things that you don't normally have to think about when you work for somebody else. It's a lot to just to juggle and keep it in the air all at once. And this is where, I try to, outsource what I can and just keep learning. I think that's a key thing as well. You just don't stop learning. Just, speak to other franchisees, franchisor, and trainers and, online, like social media, and there's Facebook groups, there's YouTube, the works, right? There's so much out there that you can just reference and continue to learn. But I'm still learning all these things and learning what works and where my skills and weaknesses are, but it has been challenging, but it's also been fun. It's exciting to be able to have the autonomy, and build a business that works for yourself, and that you can design in a way that you want and take it places that you want it to go. So that's
And what does your wife think about the whole venture?
I've not looked back.
That's good.
She's been on board. It's
Helps.
it took a little bit of explaining about the gym system in particular, and I think that's what won her over. Not won her over, but is what solidified it for her. She was always supportive of me doing my own business, but when she heard about pay for work guarantees and the amount of support that gyms offered, and resourcing that they had behind them, even brand recognition, market share, and all that type of thing, it really just made her feel more comfortable to realize the strength of the gyms group as a brand. It's been a big shift for us both, coming from a dual income, and that was quite healthy for us, and that worked for us. And then going to a setup where income was varying, because you take some jobs on, then you got to wait for bills to invoices to be paid. There's a bit of adjustment, but just having the open communication between us both, and she's been really solid support, and really been a key thing for me, where she'll even in the afternoon, she'll be like, "Oh, Josh, don't forget to book that job in, or make sure that you've scheduled this invoice," and things like that. Just small little reminders, which is always helpful.
Now, did you need the pay for work guarantee at all, or?
I think I've used it briefly in the beginning.
You're in the middle of winter as well. Yeah,
I found
probably
it more
the slowest time of the year, even though it can be busy, but it's the slowest time of the year technically. So, yeah, you started right in the middle of it.
correct. Absolutely right, mate. So it definitely did come in handy there, and just allowed me to learn a bit more about the job as well, and took the pressure off. So it definitely does help. For me now, I just between quitting jobs and going out to jobs, it's just I've not had to look at it. So
now, is there any, you've talked about learning before? Is there any YouTube channels or resources you recommend? Because we do have the training, which is a 6-day thing, but then the next day you might be at your first job and you'll be going a bit overwhelmed, or you don't know. So what resources or what helped you in those situations?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of it's hard because YouTube, you get lots of American channels out there, which is good, like a fantastic resource too. But they obviously have different grass types and different seasonal things, and stuff like that. And I found that there's like Lawn Tips Australia. They've got a good channel there, and there's like crazy ones like Lawn Porn. There's different things there. Some of these brand names are
The Lawn Hub,
are crazy, but Lawn Solutions. That's it. There's a few out there. So and they all generally have podcasts as well. So it means that you can what you can see on the YouTube channel, they'll also have a podcast version of. So they've been great on how to fertilize, when the right time is to fertilize, how to apply herbicides, how to aerate, how to rejuvenate a lawn, things like that. So it's been
awesome.
A huge help.
Now, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you probably want to talk about, or is there anything I haven't covered with you?
I think that's it, mate. I think the key thing is just being able to communicate with people around you and finding a good support network. Especially like if you've, you know, if you know everyone has their own thing going on in their lives, right? So even running a business, if you don't know how to do something, don't be afraid to ask, even if to you it might seem like a silly question. I think the key thing is just yeah, being able to have that support or look out for that. There are people out there willing to help you. So it's just yeah, a matter of just keep learning
I think you said a
and
great thing
reaching out.
before as well, which was the you outsource some things, which is great, and also that you're looking for your strengths and your weaknesses. That then you'll know what to outsource or then what to systemize to help you. Then do. That's a really good realization that you've come to extremely early. Whereas a lot of people don't do that till a bit later on, and
Yeah.
there's a bit of a mess they've got to fix up and stuff like that.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely, and I think too, coming from a building background, you know, it's all about structure and method statements and process like processes and things like that. So I think having that experience there has helped. But yeah, absolutely, jump on as soon as you can to figure out where your strengths lies, but also just as importantly, finding out where your weaknesses are, so you can identify, okay, I need help there, or I need a better system in place there. Small things like even Dan from training down in Melbourne, he put together a checklist, you know, for his trailer and for his crew to take out. Small things, but they all really help you speed up your process or make sure that you've got everything that you need for that day. I mean, the key thing about being especially like mowing or cleaning, it's all about being efficient with your time. So it might take a bit of time up front to set all these things up, but once you do, it really does help you set up a more efficient business,
Great
which
stuff.
is key.
Well, thank you very much for your day today, for your time today, Josh. And it's a really great inspiration and story because, as I said, I don't know anyone in the group who has cerebral palsy who's doing the franchise. I might be wrong, but I think you're the only one and it's fantastic how you haven't let anyone. Those doctors, you know, you probably hopefully making more money than them in a year or two with your big business, and you can sort of stick it up them a bit. So, you know, yeah. So, no, massive credit to yourself, and really happy to hear you doing well, and thank you for your time today and your insights and being a Jim's Mowing franchisee.
Yeah, no, Joel, appreciate your time. Thank you.